What's up, everybody? Hey, Tom Laird here, host of the Advice from a Call Center Geek podcast and founder of Expedia. For exceptional contact center outsourcing, trust Expedia. We're fully AI-driven, as all of you know, and can handle voice, email, chat, and all of your digital channels. Our 600-seat USA contact center is expert in healthcare, financial services, insurance, tech support, retail, and more. Experts on the NICE CX1 platform, we ensure seamless customer experiences. DM me or visit expediausa.com for more.
This is Advice from a Call Center Geek, a weekly podcast with a focus on all things call center. We'll cover it all from call center operations, hiring, culture, technology, and education. We're here to give you actionable items to improve the quality of yours and your customers' experience. This is an evolving industry with creative minds and ambitious people like this guy. Not only is his passion call center operations, but he's our host. He's the CEO of Expedia Interaction Marketing Group and the Call Center Geek himself, Tom Laird.
Welcome, everybody, to Advice from a Call Center Geek. My name is Tom Laird. I am the CEO of Expedia Interaction Marketing, and we're going to have some fun today. I know at the end of last episode, we talked about, in this episode, we were going to discuss and dig deep into our agent analysis program, which is a weekly review that we give to each agent. But I'll be honest, I wasn't feeling it. It's beautiful outside. I've been reviewing a lot of our SEO and kind of search terms for the website and also for the podcast, and noticing that you guys are most interested in one topic, which is, I think it makes sense, but it's still a little crazy, which is call center games. The number one downloaded episode of the podcast is, and it's relatively new compared to some of the other podcasts, is games to play in your call center. I think we called it 2.0. So what we're going to do here today is give you games to play in your call center 3.0. I got 20 more games for you. Technically, actually, I got 17 new ones, and I got 3 of them that we've discussed before, but I got some new or some twists or some, I guess, more information on it. So next week we'll talk about the kind of the work stuff, right? Let's just have a little bit of fun here today. The one thing I want to get into before we discuss that is we are writing a book, and it's called 101 Games to Play in Your Call Center. I would love to have some of you guys, give me some of the ideas that you guys are using in your call center. To do that, obviously you can email me, which a lot of you guys are doing. No problem with that. But I would love if you guys could please go to signup.callcentergeek.com. Sign up for the community. I'm never going to market you for anything. The only thing that's for is I got your name and email so that you can be on our mailing list, so we can send you some stuff. We can send you some private webinars, get you the key to get into the Facebook community, so we can actually start a conversation between everybody. I think we have like 8 people now, right? 8 people in the community. So let's try to get that to that 40 to 50, which shouldn't be difficult. Each episode of The Geek is generating about 400 to 500 listens. So we're over 5,000 total downloads. Again, I know you guys are out there. So please sign up for the community, signup.callcentergeek.com. And also, please, especially you iTunes listeners, please post a review. All right. Let's talk about some games to play in your call center on this beautiful June 12th here in Erie, Pennsylvania. Number 1, and we just posted a Facebook picture of this on the Expedia page yesterday, which would have been June 11th as of this recording. 2019, and we call it Expedia Punch Out, but you just call it Punch Out or whatever your organization is, XYZ Punch Out. And basically, it's kind of fun. We take a board, we use a cork board, and we take little push pins and red Solo cups, and we push the red Solo cups into the on the board and use the push pins to keep them on the board. You can use tape to keep them on the board as well. And then what we do is we either put money, lottery, tickets, whatever kind of prize you have in some of these. And we'll normally put about 20 to 25 cups up on the board. Some of the cups will have absolutely nothing. And then some of the cups will have things like shaving cream or applesauce or some of that kind of stuff. And then we just put a little tissue over the front of it with a rubber band so you can't see really what's in there. And every time a rep gets a sale or gets a good monitoring report or whatever your KPIs that you're trying to hit, they get to go up and literally punch the cup and find out what's inside. So super fun game. XYZ or Expedia Punch Out. Reps love it. They request it all the time. All right, another one. And you see this sometimes almost in Pennsylvania, we have things called stag and drags, which people do to raise money, when they're getting married, where they have, it's $10, all you can eat, all you can drink. So sometimes we see these as stag and drags. We've kind of used it here at Expedia, and it's just called Find the Joker. So what we do is we put all 53 cards, so 52 cards plus one joker, and we tape them to a dry erase board or tape them to a board. And every time we get a sale, again, KPI or whatever you guys are looking for, the rep gets to go choose a card and sign their name to it. After all 52 cards are taken, and you don't have to use all 52, but for us, we're a little bit bigger, so we use all 52 for some of these programs. And one at a time, we take them off, and we find out who has the joker. So whoever signed the joker, that's our winner for the day, and they get the prize. The third game that I want to talk about is target practice. So what we do is we have 3 kind of hoops or baskets. So we use a cornhole board. We use like a Nerf basketball hoop and literally just a waste basket. I know, crazy, right? And every time a rep, gets the opportunity to throw, we have different points for each based on where they are in the room, how difficult you think they are. The rep rolls a die to find out how many throws that they get. So if they get a 3 or they get a 4, they get 4 bags. And then they throw at each of the things, each of the baskets, depending on their choice. And if they get them in, they get the point total that's there. So we normally do this by teams. And then we'll reward the team with, sometimes we'll do an hour go home with pay, an hour early go home with pay, or extra break time, that kind of stuff. So another fun game that you can do that's, again, pretty cheap and pretty easy to use with stuff that really everybody has around. The fourth one I think I talked about a little bit, but I love it, and it's just horse racing. So basically we'll have the reps create their own kind of game pieces. Sometimes we'll just have them all decorated as horses with like a broomstick, and they'll take the day before to kind of decorate and create their own horse. And then each team will set up a board, or basically a racetrack in the middle of the call center floor. And it's cool because we have those, 1 foot long carpet squares in our call center. So each carpet square is kind of a spot. And every time that, a team member gets whatever they need to do to get a high KPI, they get to roll the dice, and whatever number that is. So if they roll a 3, they roll a 4, they roll a 5, they get to progress their horse down that many carpet squares down to the end. So sometimes we'll have this actually go in a whole full circle like a real horse track and go around the call center floor. So it's kind of fun. And you can do that with a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be horses. They could, create kind of any type of game pieces they want. To go along with that, and I know I talked about this time, but this is my all-time favorite game, and it's called the human board game. So your supervisors or your managers, before maybe the reps come in or at the end of the shift the day before, they set up really a board game, all around your call center floor. And again, we have those carpet squares. So you can set things like swap places, go back 3 spots, lose a turn, all those type of board game things that you can kind of come up with, you can incorporate into these. So again, the reps will, or the associates will come up with their own game pieces. They can roll a dice, and then they progress all around your call center floor as like a human board game. So I love it. It's the most interactive, and at all times you're kind of seeing where all the pieces are and what you need, and it's kind of fun. All right, every year we do not a beer pong tournament, but we do a water pong tournament that is company wide. So we do this more from an employee engagement standpoint. So basically, we draw names and we pair people up into teams of 2, and we draw like a giant March Madness bracket, and we actually go play off. So we'll have scheduled times. So the reps will get off the phone during that time, and they'll go play head to head, and they'll play water pong. And if you don't know what beer pong is, kind of Google it. It's the same concept, except we're using water, where there's cups and a ping pong ball, and you try to throw the ball into the cups. And we will get down to our championship match, and we will try to do this on like a Friday at 5 o'clock, when I know obviously we still have people on the phone, but there's a lot of people that are leaving. And we'll find a spot normally outside if the weather's nice, and we'll have our championship with everybody around cheering and having some fun with that. And then we have actually a pretty big prize, a couple $100 for the winners of our water pong tournament. All right, here's something a little different, and we call it bubble race. And basically, you kind of do what you did with the horse races, except every single time a rep gets a sale or a high KPI, they'll start at a starting area, and they'll blow a bubble. And they'll try to blow the bubble, one bubble down the track. And wherever it lands, that will get marked. So the next time one of a team member comes, they'll go up, they'll blow a bubble, like the little kids' bubbles, and try to go. So sometimes we'll say you can only blow one, or sometimes we'll say just as many as you can, and the farthest one goes. But it's kind of fun, kind of cool, gets them out, and everybody is kind of laughing at the people making bubbles and kind of moving them down the floor. So we call that bubble race. Mostly, I think it's better as kind of a team game, as a really stupid individual game that is so basic, but they really do like it, especially as temperatures maybe in here in northwestern PA drop during the fall time frame. We'll just play guess the temperature, and every single time, kind of like a 20 questions kind of thing, right? Every single time that a rep comes up, we'll have an official. We'll go online and have a supervisor just kind of hide what the actual temperature is, and we'll guess the temperature, and we'll say higher or lower, and whoever gets it wins the prize. We'll also go on like the Weather Channel and say, okay guys, today at 4:00 it's supposed to be what temperature, and we'll kind of play the game that way. So again, a little stupid, but it's still kind of fun and kind of gets people's mind off of maybe just the grind of what they got to do on the phone sometimes. All right, we will play Jeopardy, which is kind of fun, but again, there's a little bit of setup that's needed. So, we have dry erase boards that we set up with different, like the $100, $200, $300, $500, that just like a Jeopardy board. And then each one will just write down on a piece of paper. So, the $100 Expedia category is this question. And we normally frame the questions around the program that they're running, or around a company-related issue or company history or something about some of the associates, things that are fun that they can kind of relate to. And what we'll do is we'll have different team members. So you can have teams of 3 or 5 or 6 or how many you want. And the first person to get that sale or that KPI or that good monitoring on each team, we'll wait until there's 3 people that got those. And then we'll ask the question, and then we'll do the just like Jeopardy and kind of buzz in, and whoever gets that one gets that point. If that person buzzes in and gets it wrong, then they get that amount subtracted from their team, and then the other 2 get to go guess and kind of play it again. So a lot of different ways you can do that, to kind of fit your personality and your reps. But Jeopardy is a lot of fun because you can correlate the game to a lot of the culture stuff that I think you want to do in your call center. All right, again, something a little weird. We call it Box It Up. And this is a supervisor who created this, and it's kind of ingenious. But basically, we'll take one of the big dry erase boards, and the supervisor will just put a ton of dots all over the board. So like 200 dots. And there's some strategy involved with this. But each rep who's on a team, when it's their turn or they get that KPI, they go up and they make one line. They connect one dot to one dot. Then the next person on their team that gets there connects another one. And another one, and another one. And the goal is to keep creating dots. Now, we have some rules that you can't move past a certain amount. So you can't just create like one box and block everybody out. But there's some rules that I have with this that I probably should have had in front of me that I can send to you guys. But it's pretty cool. So the reps, basically, their job is, each team is to create as many boxes as they possibly can with trying to block other people out, so that the team that has the most boxes that they've created at the end wins. So kind of cool. All right, how about this one for everybody? We call it State Bingo. And if you are a call center like us and you're taking calls from all over the United States, what we'll do is we'll either have a piece of paper, or on the dry erase board we'll put states into like a table, right? So maybe you have like a 10 by 10 table there, and each cell, right, you're going to put a different state. And then the goal is each team member gets chosen on their one call. So everybody right now, it's going to be Susie, Jimmy, and Janie. And whatever calls they get, whatever state they came, they mark that off their board. And then the next person goes. Whatever call that they get, they mark it off their board. And what you're trying to do is do bingo, right? So you're trying to get the states all in one line, whether it's diagonal, horizontal, or vertical, and that first team that does that. A lot of fun. Reps like it. It keeps them a little bit more engaged in their screen, right? Seeing where these calls are coming from, and also gives them a little bit of perspective of how national all their calling is. So kind of fun with that. All right. The next one that we have is we love to do the cup pyramid game. So every time, the reps will actually practice, and once you kind of get this involved in a game, they will actually work on it and practice it, and some of them will get pretty good at it. But basically any KPI, the reps have 1 minute, like kind of the minute to win it, and they'll try to stack the cups up and then bring them all back down like you kind of see online. So a little bit more of a talent competition than really anything. The other thing that we like to do, which is I thought was going to be super stupid, and it's actually what I did a long time ago when I was kind of really on the floor all the time, working teams, is we would just have each team kind of quote-unquote draw their own mascot. So each team would have their own small dry erase board, and every sale, KPI, you get it right, they would go up and draw another feature. So the first person might draw the head. The next person might draw the eyes. The third person might draw the body or one arm or a nose or, having a cigarette or, wearing a hat. And we would create these crazy characters that then afterwards, we'd have either the managers or people who are maybe the finance people or somebody else outside of the call center vote. Now we probably, we haven't done that, but thinking about it, we could do like a little Facebook poll as well to have, again, people get engaged on our social media aspect, which I'm just thinking about that now. That's a probably a good idea. But then we'd have them vote and see who kind of was the winner for the coolest daily mascot or creation that some of these guys are, obviously every call center has some really talented people from an art standpoint. And they would get involved, and it's cool, but it's almost funnier when you have the non-skilled people like myself who can't draw a stick figure go up there and try to incorporate some of their things. I think you'll learn a lot. Probably learn a lot about your people doing some of those things too. So, all right, so that's what I got, guys. That's some more games to play. I think that should help you out a little bit, right, and get you through the summertime with some new stuff that you can bring into your call center and hopefully be cool and get some of your reps engaged in some of the newer stuff that you want to do. Again, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from some of your games. I posted this on LinkedIn, and I got a couple people to respond. Any of the good ones I'm going to incorporate in the book too, right? The 101 games to play in your call center that we're writing, and I'll give you full credit for any of the cool games that you guys want to provide that you guys are doing in your call center. Again, I don't have the monopoly here on creativity of this, but we do this all the time, and it's important to us. So I think some of the things we come up with are kind of unique and kind of cool, and just want to share them. So hopefully they help you guys. All right, and I got to do it at the end every time. As you guys know, we do have the book Advice from a Call Center Geek that discusses games to play in your call center, different operational tactics, who I am, but mostly focused on how to help and how to improve your call center. So check that out on Amazon if you're interested. And obviously, again, I'm gonna say it. Please post a review, and then I'd love to see some of you guys sign up for the community. Sign up.callcentergeek.com, and we can get some of this communication going and have some more fun with it, just from not me broadcasting to you guys, but hopefully getting some communication back into a community where we can all help each other. No sales are allowed whatsoever. This is just how do I help? How do I do some things? Or what are some of the best practices that some of you guys are doing? So again, thank you guys very much for listening. Thank you very much for the growth of the geek. We will be back next week with some more business-like, probably I don't want to say not fun, but some operational tactics that will help the quality of your agents. So until then, I'll talk to you guys next week.
This has been Advice from a Call Center Geek. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to the show so you're the first to hear next week's episode. Jam-packed with actionable takeaways you can implement ASAP. Chime in with your thoughts on the episode on Twitter @from_geek and on Instagram @call_center_geek. Also, take a look at our contact center operations book by the same name, Advice from a Call Center Geek, on Amazon. This podcast is sponsored by ExpediaUSA.com.